And I'll call to order the business of the special board meeting of July 21st, 2015. Mr. Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Nettapegian.
Present.
Kenneth Barron.
Here.
Thomas Berry is absent. Robert Constant.
Here.
Lisa Hicks Clayton.
Here.
Margaret Horvath is absent. And Joseph Kaczynski.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Not often that we get Nick here, so Nick, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Number 3, the approval of the agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
Councilman Kaczynski, second by Councilman Constant. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 8, reports from the mayor. 8A from Mayor Pleco, Fire Department grants. We have them in front of us, and there will be 2 motions, one for each one. The AFG will be $136,364, or if you want some pre-discussion,
Mr. Chair,
Councilman Constant.
I move that we approve the city accepting the SAFER grant as outlined in the correspondence we got from a copy of to Fire Chief Dave Brogan.
Support.
Second.
Second by Councilman,
As outlined in 8A.
8 would be 8A. Both of them would be 8A, but we can have the 2 separate motions.
Yes.
Second
Supported
by
already.
Councilman Apigian. Councilman Hicks Clayton?
No, I
That's one? Oh,
made
okay.
the set of support. That's fine.
Is there any discussion?
Good job.
Mr. Chairman, I have a
Councilman Kaczynski.
question. What impact does acceptance of this program have on the current status of bargaining unit contracts? Any?
It's completely in line with them. We were assuming the real big benefit to this is that it will greatly decrease and also decrease the possibility of overtime in the fire department. When you fully are up to your limit, then you don't incur all this as much overtime possibilities. So that's the biggest thing. And for a while there, when we were running 5, 6 firefighters under, then we were watching in the budget about $800,000 of overtime for their department, and it just, there was no way to solve that particular issue. So this is going to, not only by paying for firefighters that'll be on duty, but in addition will keep us well in line in overtime in the fire department.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, one other question. The grant, I'm presuming, doesn't influence any promotional activities, and it doesn't change the status of the rank and file in the department at all.
No, it has no effect on any kind of promotions that I'm aware of, if I'm missing.
Because we just got this at this point, and
We kind of knew that this was a possibility, and the budget, we don't like to put things in a budget unless we know 100% we have them. We felt pretty good about these, but it was anticipated that we would receive the SAFER grant. I think I felt more comfortable with than the equipment grant, but we had a good feeling towards the SAFER grant particularly.
that's all I
All
have,
right,
Mr.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilwoman Hicks Clayton?
Just for public information, because I know I spoke with Chief Brogan about this, this will allow for hire of 8 new firefighters, which brings us to full staff of 52 in that department. And familiar with the SAFER grant, and that provides for 2 years or 3 years if a veteran is hired. But would you please, just for our general knowledge, what is the commitment? There is a extension of what we have to maintain that staffing.
Well, when they initially did it, you had to maintain the staffing for 3 years. They paid for 2 years, and then we had to keep them on for an additional year, or else they could ask for some of their money back. But they've actually backed off of that.
Very good.
And
All right.
we've already budgeted, the mayor said, we've already budgeted for these positions, and so we have no intention of bringing any of these people
Well,
off.
very good. Thank you. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
And maybe to piggyback on Joe's, it literally goes by the way the contract is now. So if all of a sudden you didn't feel someone was right for our department, you can let them go and hire someone else?
Yeah, they're not,
Okay.
you don't have to have them assigned to one specific person. If they don't work out, we can get rid of them and bring on someone else.
Okay, yeah, just,
But, Mr. Chairman, it occurs to me another question might be of interest. What about the move of employees from one status to the EMS status? How will that impact with this? What impact would that have with this program, or any at all?
Yeah, there's, the SAFER grant is going strictly to pay for the salary of the new hired firefighters.
Basic.
Yep, no matter where they're working, and they're gonna be in the fire department or what they're working on, the engine or on the squad, it's all the same pay. It's not gonna affect anything except for paying for their salary.
Do you, Chief, do you ever hire people into a level of EMS skipping the basic level?
No, we only hire the top level.
Top level?
Only hire paramedics.
Okay. That's all I have.
okay. Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Second motion,
Mr. Chairman,
Councilwoman Hicks Clayton.
I move to approve the acceptance of the Assistance to Firefighters Grant. The amount is $136,364, as outlined in the document provided to us this evening, 8A.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kozinski. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. This ends our regular portion of business. Is there anything to come from any council members? Mayor? No. Clerk?
Mr. Chairman?
Okay, Councilwoman Hicks Clayton.
I had to find my note. I know everyone will be reading about this, but I want to say congratulations to Barth Bucciarelli, who is the 2015 Margaret Whitehead Senior of the Year. This is the 5th consecutive year a resident from Dearborn Heights has received the state award for Senior of the Year, and it's 9 winners from Dearborn Heights since 1990. So we really appreciate the time and talent that our residents give back to the community through volunteering. So thank you, and congratulations, Barth.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilwoman Kozinski.
I'm curious how we gradually moved into this capture of the SAFER Fund in the LI program. Who was responsible for drawing this, the outline and the application? Where did that all emanate?
Well, one of the big decisions that were done, I think it was last budget year, might have been the one before, we took Lisa, who was one of our firefighters, and we've been spending money on training for grant applications, and so we've kind of moved her from active duty, if you will, into a white shirt.
Yeah, she was, she had just made lieutenant, so the lieutenant is the busiest person in our department. They're in charge of the squads are very busy. So she had just made lieutenant. She had been working as the EMS coordinator and writing grants, but it was only when she was on duty and in between runs, and so it was very difficult to do. And it's not just getting these grants, maintaining the grants takes a lot of work, doing all the proper reporting and all the accountability of everything going on. You're constantly emailing with the federal government, with myself, trying to keep all the details straight, because you can very easily get disqualified from these if you mess up on some of the reporting. We were actually audited. There was a random audit from the group that's supervising FEMA to make sure FEMA was keeping their eye on us properly. And Lisa had all of her, when she's been moved up, Lieutenant Martin, into the 40-hour staff. That's what we came up with last year. Now she has her own workstation, her own computer, filing cabinet. It's made it much more easier and much more efficient. And so she's the one writing these grants, and she's very, very good at it. A lot of departments put in for them, and certainly not all of them did it. Very, very good.
And part of the agreement was when the chief came to myself and to all of you, was that we put him on notice that we were creating this grant kind of job opportunity, and it was conditional upon success. And I think when you pick up $1 million, that's success. So it's actually, it was a good suggestion. It's worked out very well, and that's how it came about.
Those people are invaluable. Competence and be interesting to talk with her sometime, understand what makes her tick, what's her background, and see if.
When I was captain, she was on my shift as a firefighter, and she would, even then, she took on projects like this. I knew she'd be good at. She created an entire map where she took, it was an incredibly detailed project where she like had a drawing of every city, and wrote and had typed in every single address and then made it in red for hydrants. And so we still use those maps on all of our trucks.
Mm-hmm.
So like she's good at taking those big projects, like real meticulous and real time-consuming things that could drive some people crazy. And that's, if you've ever looked at these grant forms, that's certainly, they're very, very difficult to get through. So that's definitely, she's very, very skilled at that.
I can't speak for the world, but I offer my congratulations to her accomplishments.
Yeah, I'll pass that on. I actually invited her to come tonight, and she couldn't make it.
Well, there are priorities, even with the $1 million fund.
Dedicated event, so that's good.
That's a priority.
Councilwoman
Mr.
Clayton?
Chairman, yes, I just had a question for the administration. I know there was mention of the refund from the MRMA. And my question is, what consideration for allocation of those funds has that been considered at this point? Because I know, I was just thinking of ordinance department and need for staffing and things like that.
We had placed in the budget in anticipation, if we had not received the money, we would have been looking at doing some cutbacks, and this will allow the budget to operate as is. So it's not $1 million over and above what we anticipated in the budget. It was anticipated. So there is not a excess amount of money to be utilized in other areas.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Anything else from the council members? Okay, at this point, does anyone have any announcements, things going on, happening in the city? Then at this point, if anyone has any questions or wish they bring to us, please come up to the microphone, give your name, address, and city you live in. You will have 3 minutes from the time you give that. Seeing none. Motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Constant, second by Councilman Kozinski. All in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.